Good morning. It's another episode of Empires. It's the Movie of the Week show. And I'm editor Dan Murphy. With me is, as usual, JJ James Jennings, the reviews editor. That's
Hello.
4 J's. And David Michael Brown, DMB, the senior editor.
Hello.
Chaps, good morning. Today we are talking about The Raid to Barandal, the sequel to 2009's Indonesian action flick, The Raid. And I'll get us started. The Raid 2 follows on from the events of The Raid virtually straight away. Iko Uwais, the young cop who's the sole survivor of the building raid in the first film, which was a devastating action.
Astonishing.
Yeah, terrific action stuff. It's good with a lot of martial arts, of course. Is approached by the head of his department to go undercover in a prison, ostensibly for a few months, to cozy up to the scion of a crime lord who's ruining and corrupting Jakarta. Already this is on a much, much bigger palette. So Iko agrees, partially because this particular crime family are responsible for the Canefield murder of his brother, which opens the film. And it opens the film intercut with the first of some of the best action sequences you'll ever see. And this is a fight that takes place in a prison toilet, which is about as terrifying as it sounds. What follows is an internecine plot that involves the government, involves the police department, some brutal gangster scenes. The action set pieces are remarkable. JJ will talk about those in a second. Essentially what this does is it's a 3-hour sort of Martin Scorsese flavoured, early John Woo flavoured martial arts epic that is brilliant and as good a cinema as you're going to see, especially in an action vein. Gareth Evans is the Welsh director who is, this is his third film, I think, in Indonesia. He lives there, has pretty much marked out himself as the crown prince of action cinema. He's, you were saying he's the best action cinema director working today.
I think so. Yeah.
Look, he wrote this as well. I mean, it's
Yeah, he's definitely carving out quite a name for himself on the strength of this film, especially. If Hollywood doesn't come knocking and throwing lots of money at him after seeing this film,
they're going to be throwing scripts at him already for sure.
I mean, I'm surprised it didn't happen after The Raid. I'm sure that it has, but he wanted to do this. This is, I think, is this part of a trilogy?
Yeah,
I think
he wants to do another.
So there should be a third film in the works. We mentioned the action set pieces. Now, the Indonesian martial art that they use is called Silat. It's extremely expressive and fluid and uses every part of the body, everything around it, which is, sort of a Jackie Chan thing, I suppose, but a totally different style of martial art. But everything with a sharp edge is suddenly a weapon. And
there's lots of heads cracking into corners of stuff in this film.
Look, it's not for the faint of heart. It's brutally bloody and I suppose like a Goodfellas or a Casino. Like there's some pretty heavy concepts that are at play as well within it. But it just trucks along. The soundtrack is amazing. All this sort of Indonesian electro and moody pieces. The action set pieces. Now we counted 7 monumental ones.
Yeah, there's probably about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And look, this is where Gareth Evans is really making a name for himself. Compared to say Hollywood films, the action sequences in those look like stuntmen doing a bunch of fake stuff that has no real consequences. Nothing seems to really hurt or do much damage. You feel every punch, every kick, every bit of grue in this film is just so visceral and real.
Totally.
And there's that style in Hollywood where a lot of action is a little bit too handheld and you don't know who's hitting who and what's going on. I think in this film you really get a sense of like what's happening, who's doing what, and
who's doing the damage.
It's creative. It's like his choice of camera shots.
Yeah.
His
there's a sequence,
choreography very creatively done.
The sequence there's a car chase in the middle of the film, literally the centerpiece, where there's an all-in brawl happening inside one of the cars while gunplay is happening with attendant cars around it. And for the life of me, I have no idea how he shot it and put it together.
It's mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And the thing is, each set piece in this film is completely memorable, but he ups the ante each time. So fans of action cinema are just going to have an absolute field day with this film. Look, the violence and the fact that it's subtitled, it means automatically there are people who are probably going to stay away from it. But in terms of like a rich cinematic experience, because it's a crime epic.
There's a fair bit of handheld in it too, which may bother a few esteemed members of the Australian critical circle. But
Sure. Mentioning their names.
I mean, I found it pretty jittery pokery sometimes, and I'd sort of have to shut my eyes again and sort of recalibrate. But that's a quibbling thing because I mean, he stepped it up in the action department, in the craft department, in the narrative department. It's really like it's as tense when there's punches aren't flying. This is the action movie of the year, bar none, and it should be nominated for the general Oscars in 2015. So
and it's got someone in it called Hammer Girl.
Bingo! And that's it.
Who sent us a hammer?
Who sent us a hammer? I mean, it's Hammer Girl and baseball bat guy. Not that they're ever called that, but a couple of other assassins. So there's some chopsucky flavours to it, and the villains could, one's wearing gloves and a pair of sunglasses all the time, but it's still cracking stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's not a flawless film, but it's what you go to the movies for. A cracking good time. And sorry, action movie directors of the world, you've got a new guy who's set a new bar up very, very high, and it's going to be hard for people to reach it. I think.
It's like Nirvana's Nevermind in a way, isn't it? So
it's leveled the playing field.
In Indonesian. So look, I'm going to give that movie 5 stars. We just love the hell out of it. What do you, JJ?
Yeah, 5 for me. Cracking stuff.
Yeah, cool. Dave.
I cannot wait to see it.
Nice work, folks. We're going to wrap it up. We'll see you next week. That's 5 stars for the Raid 2 Berendale, which is in limited release today. See it. Woo!